Hello and welcome, as today's date comes in that of Tuesday, the 23rd day of June 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades of the like within each's own risk and their own reward. This video will look at the silver and gold markets. So I suppose the risk reward is, and it's like this for everybody, I think it's better to be aware of such, is for financial assets, at least quote unquote money. Which are the better ones to hold? How do you want to trade? How do you want, and things like that nature. As gold and silver moving forward into these times, and as we are now, I believe are going to do very, very well. Now, when you get into gold, all these time frames in gold are just amazing, telling me that this thing is just ready, active, and all that type of stuff. But before then, let's take a quick look within the silver market, as it is battling this a very interesting Fibonacci level. Right now, that's the case big with silver, gold, and as well as Bitcoin as well, but that will be a different video later in the day or in the evening. But as far as this one, 18 average of highs on the daily. It's been in this correctionary phase really since it started on June the 3rd. It's been the entire month thus far. It took a few days to get into it. And there's about a week left or so in the month as it is. There'd be excitation if it manages to get above that. And just what gold has got an interesting look at that we'll be getting into. As far as any short-term analysis is concerned, the market had a breakout 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's retracement mode from this high to this low. And within such, that means if it's able to get out above it, then maybe we might have a very, very interesting situation moving forward. Weekly chart, it has pretty much been a real choppy mess for the most part, with support being magnificent at 1422 and resistance at 1854 area. And it's been battling again to this level. And whenever you can battle with a little small pullback, and he did it back in here, and here was the attempt to break higher. It failed on this one. But in the situation again, if it starts to proceed higher, gets above 19, that would be the possibilities of a fast, quick move. Probably be to 21 and a quarter really quick would be the most likely situation where we may entangle some sort of level of resistance from that point on. On the monthly chart, it has been sideways ever since it bottomed and flattened out. Therefore, the last 5 or so years, sideways consolidation with the lower end of the upper end resistance. Lower end meaning, well, the upper end is up here at 21.17, the 21 quarter, and the lower end here just where it has resisted in here, and then over most of last year. And that's a big breakout. I mean, there could be no resistance here. It could just fly like it's an amazing, like it's nothing. Especially when you ever have these long consolidation things, when they're ready to go, they can oftentimes have very, very nice, concise moves when it moves into the upside. As far as the quarterly chart, the neutral 18 is just that, neutral within it. It had a little bit of a break above it here on this year, or this quarter rather, and then down with the failed breakdown. And it's immediately just these two candles, let alone how these two before it precede it, show very bullish signals to me. You have this red candle instantly moved back, getting all of its losses back. So the green candle close, which is probably where it's going to close near, given the end of the quarter is also at the end of the next week, would be pretty much at this area. So to me, this is a very, very bullish signal for such. Now let's take a look at gold. And what really is fascinating me within it is the daily term. So we can put in a line here. This represented resistance on February the 24th, as well as for a couple days on March the 6th and 7th, or March the 6th and 9th rather. And then we had it again on March the 24th and 25th. And we can even say that this was an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, this was the head, this was the right shoulder. But when it broke above this, it first announced it was going to break above it April the 7th. And then it made its first real attempt on April the 9th, but it never really had that great of a break, although it did. I mean, this high compared to where this low is. But what it did do was 1. You can even count this as 2, or you can count both of these as 1 together, but there's this one. So yeah, 3, 4 different times, or 5, depending how you want to look at. It supported this area where it had some very interesting resistance. So along the way, where the price action is now, if not microscopically a little higher as well as microscopically lower, basically 1753 to the exact high, in this exchange of 1788.8 is major resistance. There was a situation relatively recent ago where it attempted to get things going. So things looked really interesting here about on the breakout, which would have been May the 15th area, but didn't do so. Possibly looking to loom here, and then possibly looking to loom here. But within the looming here, green candle up. Yesterday, sideways consolidation. It looks like it's having a great continuation moving forward to the upside. We'll go to the longer term, but before that, a quick look at the short term. And on the hourly, that looks relatively close to the same. I mean, this is the daily, this is the hourly. So a lot of, I mean, this isn't going back to any type of really recent support, but we had this hour at 2100 on June 21st or 9 p.m. Eastern time. Yesterday morning, it managed to make it to this high, but we can see from yesterday morning's high, nothing but successful correctionary phasing within the 18. A little bit of an attempt at 9 p.m. yesterday, not quite. And then last night or this morning at 3 o'clock, it had a good hour rally, and then how it held this 18 of highs for several hours. The last hour, 8 o'clock, we can see that it managed to break out above any of the short-term highs to this one. So microscopically getting below it, now microscopically getting above it. So as we see this on the hourly, this thing to me looks like it's totally live for the now kind of deal. But a lot of these setups, as I'm mentioning, look very, very amazing. So daily chart, I'll do a bunch of other short term. This is bullish. 15-minute, we have a nice little break. Every single time frame, I mean, it seems to be breaking out. I mean, if I would have done this 4 minutes ago, it would have been just perfect as far as a 1 minute chart. Because I already know what the weekly and all these other ones go on. Weekly chart, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, this is why I'm thinking, I'm never really, like, this is the multiple time frames for gold, I mean, are spectacular for me when I look at this. Here we are, this has been running up quite a bit for, I mean, a lot of higher highs and a lot of higher lows, higher highs. And overextended or whatever, it's been up a bit. There's this low, then we got this low, then we got this one. This was just that wild one on this week. And then from this high, you can call this an ascending triangle, regardless of what you want to name it. It has done very good within this correctionary move, and it looks like it's ready to break this level. And even back in here, like I said, this isn't much of a break of this high. Now, if, of course, on here, it would have went up to like this, oh my goodness, way overextended, you'd have to pull back, but there's been enough energy, enough time, and everything to state for me that this looks like there's a good chance that this thing is en route for a big, big breakout this week and the next week. As far as the monthly term is concerned, this has been nicely above the 18 average since last June. So for the entire year, we had a little bit of correctionary phase the end of last year. And then these little two volatile periods at the start of the 2020 incident. But as we can even see here, like green, green, green up. So is it overextended? Maybe a little bit, as long as there's people willing to buy at these prices. And then the market's, of course, just going to keep going up. But when you look at this in the sense, and we've already seen it in the shorter term anyway, that this April period went up to here, came back, and that's just all part of that descending triangle on the quarterly term time frame, getting very close. Well, it's at the previous resistance level. The previous most highest high is 1,923 according to this. I remember 1920, so in the 1920, 1925 area. But that's all that just area. It's in that area now. It's a noticeable break since it got above it last time in Q2 of 2019. And we're now going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be the 7th consecutive up quarter in a row when, of course, this quarter comes to an end over the next week. And one of my favorite time frames is the yearly time frame for gold, because as I see this is the ultimate excitation of this 18 average of highs after it endured about 4 or 5 or so years correcting near the 18 average of highs. After before then, with it was a 3 down period, it had like over like 10, 11 years or so up in a row. And now it's just leaving this point pretty much in the area of previous high. This thing could take it out, and having these areas hit of like, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10,000. These are all realistic levels that could take place within current to 3, 4, 5 periods would not be a surprise. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.